Well, talking about viral videos, recently or a couple months ago, we had a viral video over on TikTok. It went viral because we were talking about preparedness for marriage,
Marriage, age,
age,
preparedness,
especially age, where
especially
young
with
men were
young men.
concerned.
Right.
And
It sparked major debate.
yeah, it,
Major
it
debate.
sparked a lot of debate in the comment section.
Yeah.
And some people were tugging towards age is just a number. Other people were mostly women were saying that age is
Age is
just a
just a
number.
number.
And most of the men were realizing that absolutely,
Makes
I
sense.
was
Well, there are
ready,
some men that were saying that, hey, age is just a number for real.
very few of them,
You
but
know,
they were
so
saying that too.
yeah.
Yes,
So today we're having this discussion. We're having a conversation, not as a side note, but in a deeper context.
absolutely.
And we're going to be looking at the context behind why many young adults, early 20s, especially young men,
Especially young men.
are at a disadvantage when it comes to marriage readiness.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it.
Our love isn't absent problems, but it sure is absent drama. You deserve this kind of love. Unfiltered Heart Talks with the Dawkins.
So, my love, as we saw in the comments section, a lot of people veered towards saying age was merely a number and that had nothing to do with it. There's this one lady that she said, I have a young man and it's the best I've ever been treated and he does this and that for me. And she's older than him. And she was boasting practically about her young guy that has treated her better than any older man. And age is not the issue here.
Right.
It is important. Age is not the issue, it's preparedness. And we cannot deny the fact that age and preparedness somehow
It's
goes
correlated.
hand in hand.
Yeah,
And to deny that fact would be omitting reality from the equation.
exactly. And what we need to understand is that age, or readiness rather, is the standard. Preparedness is the standard. But age and preparedness is correlated. And that is because experience grows with age.
That is so true.
Emotional maturity
Big one, babe.
develops over time.
Over time.
And a point to note here is that a lot of time we hear it, people always ask for two things, the two biggest things.
Unpop the balloon.
I think in general,
Yeah.
I think in general among the dating community, people want someone who is led by God,
Yeah.
especially women.
Mm-hmm.
And they also want someone who is emotionally intelligent.
That is vital.
And what people don't, very few people, even on Pop the Balloon, you will hear come on and they talk about someone who is emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature. Because a lot of people don't know that there's a difference between the two.
Yes, absolutely.
And some people think that if you're emotionally intelligent, then
that
it
means you're
that
automatically
Right.
emotionally mature.
But practicality,
yeah,
application is different
from knowledge. It's like book knowledge versus street knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can know about God, but to
then you
live like I know God, it's two different things.
Or to be a doctor, you can know all the stuff in your head, but to apply it is a whole different thing.
Right.
So emotional intelligence is knowing for knowing, which is nothing. And emotional maturity is knowing for being or for being,
Yes.
which is everything.
Right. One, emotional maturity comes over time.
Absolutely.
And the saying is true. We have been hearing this from, in Jamaica, would I say, we idea we need, right?
Yeah.
And it's true. Experience teaches wisdom.
Absolutely.
Right?
Always.
Wisdom come from experience, and sometimes I will always say to my wife thinks that I'm just old sometimes, but I'll say to her, young bud no storm.
I mean, my
You know?
word kind of.
So again, emotional maturity, it does come over time.
An
It comes with
experience.
age. It
Yeah.
comes with age. Let that sink in. Secondly, thirdly, if I can say thirdly, and this is very, very important.
Especially for young men.
Especially for, my wife always let me say especially.
Guys, if you heard him say expressly, every time he says expressly in this video, please let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, but my wife always says especially.
He says express.
But especially for young men, financial stability comes over time. And that's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact that cannot be denied. Unless you were born with a gold spoon in your mouth, financial stability, upward social mobility, that comes with time.
Yes, it's earned, it's worked for.
Exposure to long-term responsibility, that also increases with age.
Yes.
Now, mind you, you have young people like myself who grew up in sole parent homes. And so a lot of the responsibilities that adults should have been shouldering, it fell on us as young men growing up. So from a very young age, a lot of us learn how to cook, how to wash our own clothes, learn how to iron, put seam in our pants and all of those. Because I've been doing this from I used to go to all age school, So that's a long time. That's something that these kids now aren't, they don't even know how to cook at my age at that time.
So in other words, you had to adapt.
I had to adapt.
Yes.
But does that adaptation means that I was ready for marriage?
Absolutely
in my
not.
early 20s?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. Because marriage is not only about having an understanding how to take care of yourself. And that's one of the things I think people miss when we have this conversation, is that a lot of people feel as though, marriage is about knowing how to take care of yourself. And if you know how to take care of yourself, then you should know how to take care of your wife. But that's not how it works. So those are very important things that people need to understand.
All right, guys, because we talk so much about relationships here, we want to mention Or Ritual. It's an online counseling platform for couples and relationship support. The link is in the description for anyone interested in learning more or accessing affordable relationship support. Absolutely, love. So young men in their 20s, especially early 20s, as you mentioned,
20s, yes,
they're not ready for that level of commitment.
Right.
And to shoulder that level of responsibility, not because they're weak or incapable, but because life hasn't given them enough runway to test their tires.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And scientifically, for men, our financial earning increases with time.
Age, yes.
With age.
Or love isn't absent problems, but it sure is absent drama. You deserve this kind of love. Unfiltered Hard Talks with the Dawkins.